What's up, guys? Dan here from Sierra Coast Training Group. It's been a minute since I've done one of these kit videos, and I pretty much did the last kit video that I made. It was almost solely out of spite in response to the majority of the other kit videos that I see out there on the internet, and guys talking about all the equipment that they run, and nobody explains shit. And I made my video thinking that I'm going to change the world, and guys are going to make videos now, and they're going to explain why they have certain pieces of gear, and why they use it, and how it's applicable, and yada yada yada. Nope, didn't fucking happen. Didn't fucking happen. And here we are today with me doing this again. So I'm just going to run through some of my kit that I took to American Milsim's Copperhead 3. I'm going to explain some theory behind it and just share some stuff because, why not? So, anyway, man, let's fucking do this. Real quick, before I jump into this, if you're one of those guys that has a particular item of kit or a pouch or some placement of a pouch that, either does it for a fashion show or I do it because that guy does it, or, I carry my IFAC over here because that unit does it, or because GMR does it, I hate you. Please have a reason, a functional reason to why you're doing what you're doing. Like maybe that unit that you're trying to emulate has SOPs to why they have to carry that pouch in this certain particular place that they carry that pouch. Like you don't know. Like try different things, do your research, and figure out what best works for you. I mean, you're not obligated to do anything, so figure out what works for you. Okay, so primary weapon system. I'm gonna have some issues showing you guys the primary weapon system that was used at Copperhead 3 because it's not in that configuration anymore. I've done some stuff, not because there's anything wrong with the weapon system or the setup, just because I get bored. So I changed some stuff, but I'll throw up some pictures so you guys can take a look at what I was working with. So the rifle now, in its current configuration, looks like this. This is a PTS Syndicate ERG Scout version, the original one, 14.5-inch barrel. It's a rock star of a gun. I love these things. I have two of them. I will say that I function tested it before I left the house, and it worked flawlessly. And then we get down to Copperhead, and I'm having some issues with the power and the motor and things like that. But couldn't figure out what the deal was. Lucky enough for me, Chris, another one of our team members, he had an ERG2 that he brought for a backup gun. So we swapped out my motor for his motor because he was running a 60, and I had no issues. So I've had this thing. This is the first gun that I ever bought, the first airsoft gun that I ever bought, and this thing, it's dope. I love it. Sorry for the display here, so just try to visualize what I'm telling you. Playas, New Mexico for Copperhead 3. I had a T1 on the gun, not this EOTech, so a T1 is an unmagnified red dot. In retrospect, I think if you go to Playas Training Center for whatever, a magnified optic would be helpful, or at least a variable power optic to not necessarily engage but observe movement from a distance. But Josh, my battle boo, had an Elkin 1-4 on his gun, so we had those bases covered. I brought a set of Nox with me. I'm sorry, binoculars. I brought those with me to Copperhead, but I lent them out to Rico, our little buddy that was running with us, and I figured he was gonna, pack them in his gear when we went out on the field, but he didn't. He left them back at camp. Thanks, Rico, fucker. Anyways, so variable power optic. It's a safe bet if you're going to Playas for whatever reason. Getting back on the furniture on this guy, I didn't have. This is a Casby rail that's on here now, a real Voltor one, but I had a APS M-Lock, a 12-incher on here, and then the accessories were exactly the same with the exception of the optic here. So pretty much it's really similar to the setup that I ran at Milsim West. So I have a LaserMax IR laser here, because the gun's front wired. I was running a PEC box with a battery in it, couldn't run two, so I figured a less gay way to do it. IR laser from LaserMax with a pressure switch that wraps around to the other side of the gun, and an Inforce WMLX white light and IR output. Really solid setup for when you're not running a pec box. I'm gonna say this one more time about lasers and lights and especially IR stuff. Dudes think that when you put on night vision that you're fucking invisible or something. I don't know what the deal is, but other people, when they have night vision, they can see all your cool guy invisible shit. You're not the fucking predator. I don't get it. So I say that because some of the UFS guys, they when it got dark, they left their lights and lasers on, like it was 0 dark 30 or something. I don't know if they thought it was cool or what it was, but they were just walking around with their lasers on, and I could see them, and it told me exactly where a whole group of them were. Which, thanks for that, guys, because it allowed me to sneak up behind your technical in the dark and shoot it with a 203. So the use of IR lasers and IR lights under nods needs to be as disciplined as if they were visible, because you guys doing that allowed me to destroy your technical, which is an asset for you guys. So the more you know, and knowing is half the battle. The other half is violence, but we won't get into that right now. But anyways, there it is. Sorry I couldn't show you guys how I had it there. Like I said, I'll throw up some pictures and give you guys a visualization. Magazines for the rifle. Old school, original PTS proprietary ERG magazines. I have a bunch of these things. I got them when I first got the gun. This gun is actually pretty old now. People tell me all the time how old my gun is. I don't care. I like it. And these magazines, as old as these magazines are, they still work flawlessly. PTS makes some rock star stuff. No joke. Too bad they don't do the ERG world anymore. They're just doing the gas blowback stuff. But maybe I'll get into that. But for now, I have these proprietary ERG magazines, and these things don't fail me. Apparently, people are looking for these things like it's a big deal, and I have a bunch of them. So, if anybody wants to buy one, let me know. Secondary weapon system was a WeTech Glock 19 held in a Safariland 578 GLS holster. This holster is pretty cool because it fits a wide array of handguns. There's a couple tension screws that you need to adjust, and then it'll mold to the majority of handguns that are out there, and it locks into the trigger guard. It took some getting used to, but the GLS locking system here, this is actually how it's held into place. Your middle finger will actually release the locking system as you get a good purchase on the gun, and then back in, and then it locks. Really cool offering from Safariland, one of their relatively new products. Safariland is one of those name brands like Surefire and shit that they build quality shit that you can depend on. But why Safariland? Safariland because friends don't let friends Serpa. Serpa holsters suck, and well, I'm gonna tell you why. Real world, a lot of tactical instructors won't let Serpa holsters into their classes because of the problems that they have. I'll show you why. I happen to have one here, not because I bought one, but because it came with one of my real guns. It's not a Serpa, but it's Serpa S. It's got the same locking system on it. I'll do this too for all of my RSOs and safety Nazis out there. Okay, good to go. Yeah, all right. Now, why these are shit and you shouldn't use them is because when the gun's in the holster, in order to release the locking mechanism here, your trigger finger has to do it. So in order to release the locking mechanism, you need to put tension on that and then draw the gun. Where that poses problems is that new shooters and people that just aren't used to this particular style of holsters, they get hyper aggressive when it comes to drawing their handgun. So they get a purchase on the gun, they release the locking mechanism. Now there's already tension on this trigger finger, so what happens is, if you're fucking deer in the headlights mode and you go to draw your handgun, you depress that, and there's already tension there, your finger slips inside the trigger guard and pulls the trigger. Airsoft, not such a big deal. People are just gonna look at you like you're stupid. Real world, major fucking party foul. The other deal with these things too is you can see that there's some play into this locking mechanism. If a little rock or anything gets in here, it will actually lock the handgun into the holster and you won't be able to draw it. If there's any, even like a little twig or something like that. So you're gonna go to press on this thing and there's gonna be a piece of debris in there and you're not gonna be able to draw it. Which, if you're in a situation where you're down to your handgun, you're probably already fucked. So not being able to draw your handgun is gonna lead to you having a bad fucking day. So if you have one of these, throw it away. I, I, I don't know. Do what you want, man. It's just my thoughts on the whole thing. Okay, so the role that I took at Copperhead 3 was the role of the Grenadier in the squad. I didn't want to mount the 203 to the gun because when we're in and out of houses like we were, you know, for stuff like Milsim West at 559, it was real rural, and I could mount the 203 on the gun and get away with it. But when you're doing CQB and you need to be a little bit more dynamic in your movements, it matters how much shit you put on the gun and how cumbersome that motherfucker is. So I elected to carry the 203 standalone. The problem with me doing that was I took the 203 off the gun and I was going to get a chassis for it. Nobody had a chassis in stock. Dude, I couldn't find one. The only ones that I could find in stock were the real chassis for the real 203s, and I didn't feel like spending that much fucking money on an airsoft 203. So they say that necessity is the mother of invention, and I took my Spikes Tactical Havoc launcher and I built this motherfucker. Yeah. So for those of you guys that want to do this, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. It's not rocket science. I went to Home Depot, strip of wood, block of wood, make sure it's something solid like oak. Measured it out, right? This is a real commercial stock and buffer tube that I just had laying around because I don't use commercial stocks and buffer tubes. I use mil-spec. I measured out the diameter of the buffer tube. Took a router, you could use a drill too. Drill this out, slap that in there. Now, to hold it in there, I took these Magpul Picatinny rails and I bolted them to the top of the piece of wood. The final screw here that keeps the Picatinny rails bolted to the wood goes straight through both and into the buffer tube. Same thing with the grip. So there's a really long screw that's threaded up through the grip. So through the grip, into the block of wood, into the buffer tube, and then the sling mount here. So it's got contact points on 3 sides, and this thing's not going anywhere. Picatinny also on the underside of the piece of wood. And this thing's solid, man. It's held up for a while. I like it a lot. Good luck on trying to make one. It took me a minute, but it's good to go now. Okay, so now another dilemma. I'm carrying the 203 standalone. It's not mounted on the gun. How the fuck am I going to carry the 203 and the rifle? Well, there's a bunch of ways to do it, but here's the way that I elected to do it. So I have a Tier Tactical. Is it like, it's an assaulter's yoke, basically. So it's meant to carry a helmet in there. But what I did is I elected to take the 203 and shove it in the yoke instead of the helmet. Carry it on my back like so. I was firing these tag rounds out of it, so I got a Paraclete triple 40 mic pouch and another Paraclete, like a small GP pouch that I got on the back of this thing. Tier Tactical is another one of those companies that makes some quality shit. I don't think I'm gonna be able to destroy this thing ever. But I carried this thing on my back, and I carried it. I wasn't attached to the rig or anything. I carried it as like a normal backpack using the straps. I do that for 2 reasons. One, if I needed to take up a position and just start lobbing fucking 40 mics, I could just take this off and then reload straight from the bag, like right on the ground or a table or whatever. I also did this. I carried it on my back in case, you know, I couldn't put down my rifle at the moment because I was engaged. Whoever came up behind me was free to grab this thing off my back and just start dumping rounds. So that's the way that I elected to do it. It worked out pretty well. Inside of this thing, I had a hydro carrier and a giant can of black gas, which is king in tag grenades. This is where I would keep the actual shells for the tags. There's an Archangel in there right now. And then the reloads would be in there. I had some additional ones inside the pack itself. These tag grenades are a little finicky, So what I like to do is just carry a ballpoint pen to reset the primer inside the grenades after I discharged one. And believe it or not, this stupid simple solution worked out awesome. Lid situation. For those of you guys that saw the Milsim West kit video, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. This guy right here is a MSA Mitch 2000 on Bob here. Hang on a minute. MSA Mitch 2000, where I actually cut the ears off and made it look more like a fast helmet. I don't know. It's a real one. Team Wendy pad kit inside of it. Stellar pad kit. Makes wearing a helmet so much more pleasant. As pleasant as wearing a fucking helmet for a couple days can get. MS 2000 strobe. Homemade counterweight pouch in the back of this guy from when I run my night vision. Old school ACH mount. An NVG setup. It works just fine for me. Peltor range guards on the rail of the helmet. Gerber pen light that I rarely use. Secondary iPro up top that I also rarely use because my iPro's awesome. Yeah, good helmet. Does what it's supposed to do. It's a helmet. Mount the contour right there when I film all your cool guy shit. As far as iPro goes, Wiley X, dude. Wiley X Bobsters. These Wiley X Bobsters are pretty awesome. I swapped out the lenses. They came with amber ones. I didn't really like them, so I put the tinted ones on there. They got a little helo kit, so it's full seal for American Milsim, because American Milsim is pretty strict about that, and you don't want to get kicked the fuck off the field after you paid all that money. I had zero fucking issues with these things. Zero. The only time I swapped to the clear ones is when it got dark and I needed to use the nods. But these are a sound investment if you're looking for some quality iPro with zero fogging issues. That's full seal, because I don't know if I have a weird shaped face or it's my beard or whatever the fuck, but I tend to have fogging issues a lot. So these are awesome. As far as night vision itself, same night vision binocular, same way I set it up with the shock tube on the helmet. Night optics, Gen 3 Ambia money. You're looking into night vision, check out Night Optics. This Ambia is awesome. I get the question all the time, hey man, help me out getting night vision. I want good night vision for cheap. I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret here on how to get good night vision for cheap. Doesn't fucking exist. It doesn't exist. You want good night vision, save up and spend the money. Don't waste your money on Gen 1 units because they rely heavily on IR lights on the helmets, and the problem with IR lights, even though it's not visible to the naked eye, everybody else with night vision can see IR light and know exactly where you're at. So the best advice that I could give you is check on eBay for guys selling used Gen 3 devices. Ask how many hours are on the tube, because the tubes do have a shelf life. Some people get lucky on eBay buying night vision for blemished tubes. If you look at a blemished tube on the internet or somebody selling one, ask them to send you a picture of the blemish, because sometimes guys are selling blemished tubes and there's like a little line on the tube that's noticeable if you're staring at it, but it's not really noticeable if you're actually using the thing like you're supposed to. So I mean, that would be my advice in trying to acquire some decent night vision for a reasonable cost. In my opinion, don't dick around with trying to build your own PVS 14. There's a lot more that goes into it than you think. So save up, spend the money if you want night vision. It's definitely helpful when it comes to you going to mill some stuff and playing night games. It gives you an advantage. Trust me. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. What about face protection? What about face protection, Dan? What do you wear to protect your face, other than your glorious beard that's now going gray? Nothing. I don't wear face protection, and this is probably gonna rustle some jimmies, but I don't wear face protection for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not a bitch, so yeah, there's that, and I'm a firm believer in not wearing face protection, and that pain prevents you from doing stupid shit. Stupid shit like leading corners with your face. Because if you have face protection on, then like, what's really to prevent you from just running around all nibbly bimbly from tree to tree and just doing dumb shit? Because like, what's the repercussions? Nothing. There's no repercussions. If you don't wear face protection and you lead corners with your face, or you're just not very tactically proficient, like, you just got shot in the face. Like, you might get your tooth shot out. You might have a nice little scar on your face. You might be popping a BB out of your nose. Like, I don't know. It's good reinforcement to not do it. Yeah, because that way, when you come up to that situation again, you know, it's gonna pop in the little back part of your brain. It's like, hey, remember when you did this last time? Yeah, don't fucking do that again. So, anyways, that's why I don't do it. I did, for the first time ever, buy a mouth guard that I took with me to Copperhead. I know shit. I had a mouth guard. I had it in, and then I was like, this sucks. And then I took it off. It was like, no shit, 15 minutes into the game. I took it off and I put it in my pocket. And then when I went back to be like, oh, like maybe I should use this, it was gone. So I lost it in like 15 minutes. And yeah, if I get shot in the face, I just get shot in the face. That's my bad. I take responsibility for that. So that's why I don't do it. Plus, if I wore face protection, you wouldn't be able to see my beard. So, I mean, where's the fun in that? Like, you're gonna look dumb in all the photos and just like, I don't know, whatever. Okay. All right. We're gonna talk a little bit about night vision for a second, because I get this a lot. This is for people looking to buy them, and then a little bit of information to people that have them. If you don't know this already, if you know it, then whatever. I've been asked a lot of questions about PVS 7s because they're a relatively affordable option. I would be wary of PVS 7s because PVS 7s are a dual eye cup and reduced down to a single tube. The problem with that is they give you tunnel vision right about out to here. So it's not that they're bad, especially with the Gen 3 tubes and things like that. It's just that when you use them, you need to sweep your head constantly to increase your situational awareness. Otherwise, you're gonna be induced into tunnel vision. Getting into the dual tube systems like the Anvis 9s, which is a really good system. Basically, it's the simplest way to put it is that dual tubes are better for rural environments when you don't necessarily have to read a lot of lighting conditions. You just need to see in the dark. They do give you better situational awareness in those types of environments, and they excel better than any other systems in doing that. The problem with the dual tube system is that you can't really read the lighting conditions. Why that's important is because, say you're under dual tubes and you pass under a street light or something like that, where you're not really going to stay in the shadows if you're silhouetted by the street light, or a full moon or something like that. I default back to using the binoculars because it's what I'm used to, and it's what I know the most about. With the binoculars, when you use them over a single eye, I use them over my non-dominant eye. That allows me to use my dominant eye, the one not under night vision, to read lighting conditions to make sure that I'm not silhouetted and things like that. And it's not, if you've never used them before, your brain kind of puts both images together in a bigger picture. Also, in addition to that, is you don't run it right up and close and personal against your eye. You run it out a little bit so that not necessarily you could be able to see off to your peripherals, but you will be able to detect movement and then direct your attention that direction. So I run the binocular over my non-dominant eye, my left eye, because I'm right-handed. So then when I'm running the rifle, I would use sorry, my dog's chewing on her toy. I would use the laser aiming systems on the rifle. Use get a good cheek weld. You don't necessarily need to use the optic. I don't. It's a pain in the ass. I use the laser to aim the gun. And then if I lose the element of surprise or the tactical advantage, then I would resort to white light and then use the optic with my non-dominant eye. That's the way that I feel works best for me. That's where I have the most training, and I feel the most comfortable there. So it kind of depends. It's dictated by circumstance what system you're going to use. But I know that a lot of personal purchases with night vision, it eats a hole in your wallet, because it's not just the night vision that you need. Now you're going to need IR lights and other types of aiming systems and things like that. So just take those really small things into consideration when you're looking into night vision. And then, the other question I get asked a lot is weapons manipulation under night vision. And this is a really closely guarded secret that I keep near and dear to my heart. Weapons manipulation under night vision is the same fucking thing if you're not wearing night vision. It's literally the exact same shit. If you can reload your gun without fucking thinking about it, or do whatever you need to do with your weapon system without thinking about it, just do that. There's nothing special. There's no added benefit to it. So just, you know, go in a dark room and just practice doing speed reloads and what the fuck ever. Footwear. Reebok Dauntless. I don't know what the deal is with me and Reebok, but these boots tend to fit my foot well. The Playas Training Center, there's a lot of open terrain. There's also a lot of structures, and is the open terrain. There's a lot of divots when you have to cross fields and things like that. And there were dudes out there in like low cut Salamans and things like that. And you know, inevitably when dudes wear shit like that, you know, you're gonna roll an ankle, and that did happen to a bunch of dudes. They had some real world emergencies from guys that would roll ankles and do whatever else. So if you're going to Playas, ankle support. Don't be fucking stupid. These Reebok Dauntless boots are solid. I like them a lot. That's what I use. I have a bunch of different Reebok boots, but these are the particular ones that I wore for the event. They're actually light for what they are. And when you get down to the sole and things like that here, they're really hefty. But from the ankle up, they're really flexible and light, and you know, they don't feel like you're wearing an actual, you know, fucking 8-inch boot. Then they got the zippers too for, you know, when you get lazy. But yeah, these work well because, you know, I didn't roll an ankle. Uniform stuff. We played for the PSA side, i.e. green side, and we wanted to be different. I don't know. Tiger stripe seemed like a cool idea, and it was an authorized pattern. Tiger stripe. I think it's shit, I don't know, man. I don't know, it doesn't even have a brand on it. Whatever. Tacticalgear.com. Tacticalgear.com. $50. Top and bottoms. We raid modded them when we got them. So, you know, for the price, these actually held up really well. I'm surprised. It's real durable. We got some custom Tiger Stripe IR patches going on here. A guy named Dylan Longernecker did them. Good dude. You can find him on Facebook, and he does a lot of laser cutting and IR stuff. In order to get him to do Tiger Stripe, though, we had to buy an extra one of these, destroy it, cut the whole back out of the shirt, and then send it over to Dylan, and he went out and he laser cut him with the IR underneath to make us some cool guy patches. He also sold some more of them on Facebook, so you guys that got your Tiger Stripe patches from Dylan on Facebook, you're welcome. Yeah. The Tiger Stripe IR patches added to the whole ambiance. I don't know. I thought it was cool. Believe it or not, though, this top, I didn't fucking wear it because it was hot as balls. So I took off the cool guy patches and did a little something different. Boom shakalaka. Velocity Systems Boss Rugby shirts. I bought one of these months ago, and I was so impressed with it that I no shit went and bought 3 more. These are awesome. It's a really, really light mesh material that's moisture wicking and keeps you cool. It's got the rugby cut for the collar here, which also adds some ventilation. If you got chest hair, it's awesome power shit going on. You could showcase it. It's got Velcro real estate on the sleeves to mount all your cool guy shit. In our case, our Tiger Stripe IR stuff and team patches. The Velcro here is actually, it doubles as a pocket, so I could keep my cigarettes for when I needed one, so I didn't tear people's throats out of their necks. But I recommend these. Obviously, if I bought 4 of them, I highly recommend them. Like, you will not be disappointed with these things. As hot as it was running around the desert at the Playas Training Center, this was good shit. I'm really glad I had this. Also, while we were on the subject of cool guy accoutrement, our team patches were made by a dude named Gilly, GRW Kydex. Check him out on Instagram and Facebook. He does a solid job. I sent him like a photo of a drawing, and he knocked these out, a couple different color schemes and stuff, and then he saved the design so we could get more later on. He's got these prices are reasonable, and his turnaround time is no joke. SoCal or California, it's probably faster. But if you're looking to get some team patches done, Gilly's the man to go to. Also, when I was not wearing the helmet, I was wearing this guy. This is an RE Factor Tactical Blasting Cap. Ball cap's a ball cap, right? No. I'm rarely one to say that one particular product is the end-all be-all of products, but if somebody had a gun to my head, I'm going to say this fucking guy right here. It's got your cool guy tiger stripe shit, which is what we were doing, but the back here is mesh, and then you have, you know, Velcro for your call sign or whatever IR shit you want to run, and then Velcro up top for your IR glint tape when you're not running your IR glint tape. Inside the thing here is another piece of Velcro for stowing it, and it also doubles as a, you know, high vis signal marker in case you do dumb shit and roll an ankle for not wearing the right fucking boots. You know, and if you're that guy, it's also got some quick reference explosives formulas inside of the hat. Not that I'm using them, just for the cool guy. You can just say you have it. I don't know. This hat's dope. I got one of these, and I'm probably gonna do the same thing that I did with the Boss Rugby shirts. Is I'm gonna buy like 3 more of these goddamn things because it's cool. I mean, it looks cool, but the mesh here and just the way that it's built, it's a solid hat. Pyro. Okay, Milsim West video that I did. I was talking about the R2BS frag grenades, and I only threw one that whole event, and it didn't go off, and I was super bitter. I've used these a couple times since then, and every one that I've thrown since that one has gone off, and it is incredibly satisfying because these things are loud as shit and they spit fire. I've had a ref stop me, not at this one, but at, you know, another event where a ref would stop me and be like, "Whose grenade spitting fucking fire?" And you're like, "This guy." These are legit. They're a little bit pricey as far as like as far as hand grenades go, but they're worth it in my opinion. I did fuck up. If you guys are watching my Copperhead videos, our Copperhead videos, there was a bunch of guys outside of a window, and we were pinned down in a house, and I was trying to lob it just outside of the window, and I did a little bitch throw, and it got lodged inside. I don't know how this happened, but it got lodged inside the glass on top of the frame in the window, and it detonated from there, spitting glass everywhere. And I remember pausing and looking at it, and I was like, I should probably be elsewhere because there's fucking real world danger now. And if you watch the video, you can hear the glass shatter. Yeah, it was a good time. It's a good time. You hear all the guys outside screaming and yelling. I endorse these now after that snafu at MSW, but I'm using these religiously since. So frags, that's what I use in addition to the 203s. Smoke, Enola Gay, man, only way to go. These EGX 18s, they put out a lot of fucking smoke. I don't use smoke a lot. I don't, because it lets the enemy know exactly where you're at. So I mean, I don't really see the point. I do use it on a couple different occasions. 1, to mark positions, and 2, as a distraction. So, you know, if we're fucking pinned down somewhere and there's 2 avenues of exfil, I will throw a smoke the way that we are not going. Otherwise, I don't use them, but when we do, this is what we use. Also, you know, if you want to take some cool guy photos and stand there like a fucking Billy Badass, you pop one of these off in the background. You look awesome. Try it. Okay, last, the rig. Now, I purposely do this last, so all you guys that just want to see the rig have to scrub through the whole video to get to it. Stipulation with this guy, I didn't have it in this configuration for the game. I took it to the game in this configuration. But then I realized it was hot as balls, so I converted it back over to chest rig mode. But it's the exact same setup this way. Baseline, this guy's actually a couple of different things. So it might not be a big surprise. This base plate carrier, Pig, Brigandine, just a Ranger Green one. Same thing I used at Milsim West. I like these, they fit me well. Now, where this gets kind of weird is the Pig Brigandine has a couple of slots in the front of it if you want to attach Quasm clips or a placard to carry magazines and things like that. I didn't do that. What I did was I used a Tactical Tailor 2-piece MAV, and I attached it to this guy. You're going to have to do some small modifications and things like that in order to run something like this, but it works out. It works out really well. So what we have here with the 2-piece MAV, it actually, this is a center adapter for the MAV. There's actually a space in the middle of it, but they make a, so if you can see that, that's how it comes. But they make, Tactical Tailor makes a center adapter, which is this guy, so that you have real estate all across your midsection to mount magazines and things like that, which actually makes this whole thing work on taking it on and off and making it a chest rig and a plate carrier at the same time. Okay, so how this works, if you want to convert most chest rig systems that are out there over into integration with the PIG plate carrier, is you're going to need these ITW Quasm buckles that I got from a company called Downrange Gear, and they sell all kinds of, you know, tactical accessorizing, things like this. The Quasm buckles will fit right into these slots on the PIG, and then you just integrate the second half of the buckle into the chest rig itself, and that's going to work for the front for both sides for the stabilizing underneath your nipple line, hips and nips, baby. The chest rig that the MAV is configured as when you get it is an X harness, and the X harness would run around and attach exactly where these Quasm buckles are. So with the excess straps that are in the back, obviously you're going to need sustainment all the way around. So what you do to integrate it with a PIG or a lot of other slick plate carriers that are out there is you take off a couple of the tri-glides that are on the straps itself. You run the tri-glide through the actual ratchet for the shoulder strap itself, and then you just essentially run the X harness straight to that and then back down. It's not that hard to do. It works out nicely if you want to integrate whatever chest rig into a slick plate carrier. But this was my intention, but like I said, it was hot as balls, so I converted it back over to just X harness mode, which, you know, saved me some heat and misery. So back to what's on this guy. Starting right here on the front, IR flag patch, because fucking America. And then I got my my Disposable Heroes California patch, because, you know, homies. Coming down the magazines here, these are, this is a triple BAE Systems magazine pouch. They actually hold 2 each, but I elected to just go with 1 magazine each in case, you know, like I was saying before in my Milsim West video, like if you can keep your front as flush and flat as possible, if you have to go prone, you're going to teeter-totter a lot less, and it's easier to stabilize your shooting platform and actually get shots if you have to go prone. So yeah, like I said, 1 magazine each in these guys, and then on this side here, there's 2 individual single Tactical Tailor M4 mag pouches, to which I have 1 magazine in each. I put some S&S pull tabs on there because I played with these things, and I don't know, I thought they were cool, so I put some S&S pull tabs on there as opposed to the actual the normal pull tabs with the shock tube that the magazine pouches come with. Tactical Tailor Fight Light GP pouch, really cool GP pouch. I have a couple of them in different configurations on different setups that I have. In here is where I would keep the let's see what I have in here. I have 1 extra magazine, frag grenade, and 2 pistol mags. So in the back I would have 1 mag, frag. In the front, 2 handgun mags. Moving around, ATS GP pouch here that I had on the side, which is where I kept the rest of the frags. Now, according to American Milsim, you can keep 6 frags on your person at any given time. So this is where I would keep my backup frags, and when I would use this one, I would actually keep plussing up this pouch. That's what is when you go through mags and disposable items like grenades and things like that you carry toward the front of your body, as soon as you use them, if you have any toward the back of your body that are more difficult to get, you want to move them to that negative space now, or that empty space where that grenade or whatever was, or a magazine, just so it's easier to get to, you know, in an emergency situation, so you're not, like, you know, reaching for shit. I have a BAE dump pouch that's actually right on the bottom strap of this chest rig, so I don't have to run it on the belt. This is all like one self-contained system that I have it set up as. Going around to this other side now, this would be my right oblique. It's another GP pouch that I kept all the smoke in, the smoke that I, you know, rarely use. And then a Eagle Industries radio pouch, which holds the Baofeng, which is pretty much the staple for this spoppy that we got going on. The cool guy thing though that I got with the radio is we actually got these TVAS antennas. Mike got them from a dude over there at Fort Bragg, and as far as radio antennas go, these things are the shit. They push the Baofeng as far as you can go with range and clarity and things like that. I just ran the antenna because it's actually a long, flexible antenna. So I would run it back up through the shoulder strap and then underneath the shoulder pad here, fold it in half, and then back down the other way. I originally had it secured with like some excess Velcros and some zip ties, but I just kind of threw these back together to make this little video. These shoulder pads are the Velocity Systems shoulder pad or shoulder sleeves, padded shoulder sleeves. I didn't know how I felt about these things when I first got them, but they're legit. I mean, even when I took it down from plate carrier mode back into chest rig mode, I left the shoulder sleeves on there, and they added some comfort. I'd recommend them. I like them. They're really minimalist, but they're really comfortable. So that's pretty much it for the rig. I mean, I didn't have anything ridiculous on there. I mean, like I said, I kept the tag grenades and everything, and every 203 item that I needed self-contained in the yoke, the tier tactical yoke, and then all the magazines and frags I just kept up here. I didn't have any like sustainment gear or anything like that because it wasn't straight through for 2 days. We could walk off the field or we would keep sustainment gear like back at camp, things like that. I will say that I feel lucky that I ran with this particular setup, where I was able to carry a lot on my midsection across my stomach and the cummerbund here, because American Milsim has a pretty strict rule set where you can only carry so many magazines and grenades and things like that on your person at any given time. Ammo and stuff like that was supposed to be left at the fob, and then if you were ever black on ammo or frags or running low or you needed something, you would have to make your way back to the fob to plus up whatever it was that you needed. So why I feel lucky that I ran this is I ran as much as I could given the rule set, and this worked better than guys out there with their 3 mags on their little JPCs and things like that, because when we were done fighting and then we were make our way back to the patrol base, not the fob, Bo from AMS, who's like one of my new heroes, by the way, like we'd get back there, but like, hey man, like we're running low on supplies, we gotta make our way back to the fob and plus up. And Bo would be like, he'd standing on a rooftop just mad as shit, be like, yo, I got shit for you to do. Like, we're about to get attacked. Like, you want to go fuck some people up? I'll give you some stuff to do to go fuck some people up. And we're like, roger that, Bo. And we're just consolidating magazines and fucking ammo and passing shit out and whatever. So I'm glad I ran with this setup and not like a minimalist setup like some dudes were wearing, so they would have to make their way back to the fob all the time to get shit, because Bo wasn't playing that shit. Bo was like, nah, we're fucking some people up right now. I'm good with that though. So, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. All in all, well done, American Milsim at Copperhead 3. It's one of the better events that I've been to. One thing American Milsim did at Copperhead 3 that was actually really smart was they made the objectives about water. Like real deal objectives and resources that you could use. And seeing as how it was hot as shit and we were in the desert, everybody cared about the objectives. You have water in your Camelback for like 7-8 hours. It gets a little bit warm, so when you're fighting for an objective, you're like, hey man, there's ice in that house. Like, I want that motherfucking ice. That was a smart move. I can't say enough good things about the cadre and even the caliber players that were there. Like, dudes were calling hits. I mean, it was a good time. It was worth the drive from California out to New Mexico. As far as the kit and stuff, this is, like I said, just what I used, and I'll say this again, it's just, all this is just my opinion. You don't have to take what I say as gospel. Actually, don't. Please don't take what I say as gospel. Do your own research and figure it out for yourself, what works for you. I'm just trying to share information and knowledge that I have. Maybe it would help some of you guys out as far as growing the sport. Please do the same. And that's pretty much all I got, man. So until next time, see you later.